morning, guys. Hey, Scott with Heritage Farms. Hey, it's Friday before Memorial Day, so taking a couple of days vacation. I'm going to try to get some stuff done here around the farm. Also going to try to take some time to do some fishing, so looking forward to that. So anyway, so what's on deck today? Well, hey, I'm heading down to the rental property. We're going to rotate the cattle off of the rental property back to telephone 2. So I have to string up a little hot wire in front of my landlord's cabin just to make sure the calves and stuff don't go up on the porch and mess up the patio furniture and all that. So going down here to do that, and then we're going to move cattle. Then I'm going to probably shift gears, and I may get on a culvert project. We got that going on. We also have a guy that's in the process of baling hay at telephone 1. So we may have some bales of hay to move sometime this weekend. We'll just have to play it by ear and see what happens. So there you go. That's kind of what I know. That's what's on deck, and we'll figure it out as we go along. Thanks. Hey guys. All right. Well, it's Friday afternoon, and boy, let me tell you what, it's one of those days. Everything is fighting me today. Nothing is going the way that I wanted it to, except we got the hay guys here and they're baling hay, so that's good. And you know, this was kind of the first cut. This was ryegrass, probably a little bit too late to get it. It's not great, but we needed to get the ryegrass off so the Bermuda grass, or excuse me, the Bahia grass could start coming out. So the guys are here. But in the meantime, let me just, you know, it's just one of these days where, man, everything fights you. So we moved the cattle this morning off of the rental place. So I thought, man, what a great time to actually go back and shred the rental place, knock down all the weeds the cows didn't eat. That way they'll give the grass a chance to grow back up, and just plus be a good steward for my landlord. But, you know, just typical things. So I got a little bit of an issue. So getting the tractor ready. So of course I had to grease the tractor, oil, transmission fluid, yada, yada, yada. So now we got the situation where the PTO shaft is stuck. And anybody that's been around tractors or worked on tractors, this is a pretty common occurrence. It sits all year, and then you get ready to use it, and that's your issue. So I'm trying to figure that one out. I've been putting oil down there, trying to get this thing to pop off, and hopefully it'll start to come off here shortly. All right, in the meantime, yeah, just my bad luck continues. Oh, also the Kubota battery's dead. So had to get me a battery charger for that. Pulled out the culvert, quickly realized this culvert's got a couple of things. A, it's got a hole in it right down here, which is not good. But also, I really don't need a 20-foot culvert. The other problem is that thing has got a lot of dirt in it. So what I'm probably gonna do is cut this thing in half, get it down to 10 feet. Then I can actually stand it on its end, get all the dirt out, see what I got as far as a problem there with that hole. And then we'll kind of move from there. But all right, so in the meantime, what are we doing? Wasting days. That's what we're doing. Burning daylight, man. I just can't get anything done today. Can't get anything done. So, you know, I've had multiple battery chargers. Actually inherited a couple of battery chargers that my dad had for cars, but I didn't really have a heavy duty one for the farm. So I went and picked one up. So what did I get? A Schumacher Electric Core Farm and Ranch. 200 amp engine start, 150 amp engine start. Oh, there's 200 amp engine start. 40 amp boost. And there you go. So we're gonna give that a try. All right, guys. Okay, well, this has been fighting me for a couple hours now. So, man, this thing was 20 foot long, and it was full of dirt and everything. I thought last year we cleaned it out, but evidently we did not. So, anyway, this time around I cut it in half using a metal cutting wheel on the grinder. Did a nice job. Then I was able to maneuver it, pick it up, knock off most of it, and then I took a water hose and rinsed it off. So the culvert's clean. It's got a couple of rusty spots on it, but you know what? We're really not going to be using this anything like daily or anything. It's just literally around the pull up here at Telephone 2. Most likely there's mostly going to be four-wheelers and ATVs riding across it, so I'm not really concerned. You know, if this thing lasts another 10, 12 years, perfect. I'm not just too worried about it structurally, so I think it's going to hold up just fine. And it's kind of a weird culvert. At first I thought it was round and somebody had squashed it and made it oblong, but the more I look at it, this thing was actually built oblong. So it is a kind of an egg-shaped culvert, which is a little bit unique, but you know, I kind of like it though, because I think it'll move a fair amount of water through it. And the good news is there's not a lot of water that comes through it, so it should do just fine. So we'll see. We'll show you what I have in mind, and we'll start working on it.
See that girl with blonde hair, life's shake wasn't quite fair. Never had a choice but to grow up. Mama wasn't always around. Her blood father's in the ground. She crawled before she used it as a crutch. Silver run, silver lining, a flower growing through asphalt, yet her roots are twice as strong. Never done, always climbing, been a fighter all along. She's only afraid to fall in love with me.
Guys, well, we're working on the multiple culverts around the pond. Trying to get this thing, man, where I can come in here and drive around. You can see what I've done here. I've got one in right here, so pretty pleased with that. Need to get a little more dirt, I think, on this end. Trying to get this thing packed down on both sides where when the rain comes in, because you can see the rain comes, or the water drains down, comes in here and over to the deal. So that's what we're doing. We're working on trying to get this, but let me tell you what, it's my culverts are, I had the 20 foot, we cut it in half, made 2 10s, which is okay. But I'll tell you what, you don't want to be drinking and driving across this, because 10 foot's not wide enough. It would have been better if they would have been 12. That would have been nicer, but hey, it is what it is. so you can kind of get an idea of what we're doing. So as you come in here and you put all of this dirt down, it's real soft. So I mean, you got to run over it. You got to try to pack it down. It just takes a little time. Takes a little time. But you can see kind of what we're doing here, man. We're getting this where it's all going to be nice and level, where you can drive a four-wheeler, Kubota, ATV, UTV, pickup truck. I need to come back, trim a couple of these low-hanging limbs. But, you know, it just takes time. It takes a little time. All right, there's your update. More to follow. Well, it's about 4:30 on Saturday afternoon. Bailey and Chris came down on a very quick trip, so came back by. My understanding is they only can stay just for a little while. So Michelle and I were planning on doing some fishing later this afternoon, but evidently they're headed over. So I hit the brakes on shredding, and I'm at telephone 2, waiting on the crew to get here, checking out the work I've been doing today. I don't know, it's coming together. It's not perfect, but you know, it's going to take several passes, and you know, it needs to be packed down. You know, really needs to be driven over, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, trying to get this thing all done. But it took a fair amount of dirt to fill in that one. Kind of the same over here, but hey, we'll get this. And this is my pond, man. This is where I like to fish and rest, if you will. Unfortunately, I haven't spent enough time there. I need to do more. You can see we've done a lot of cleanup. I still got more to do. It's never ending, but eventually we'll get this place in shape. All right, guys, that's what we're doing. You can see the cattle. They're over there. They're really enjoying the grass. That pasture's been vacant for about 3 weeks, and it's really grown up nice. And they're out on the move, taking it all in.
Silver run, silver lining, a flower growing through asphalt, yet her roots are twice as strong. Never done.
Good morning. Well, Saturday morning, took Friday off. Felt like we got some stuff accomplished, not as much as I would have liked, but hey, we did get the pecan orchard cut. Hopefully they'll come back maybe today or this afternoon. I don't know if it'll be dry enough. They'll rake it and then bale the pecan orchard. So that little front section up there didn't do as good as I wanted it to do. Basically we got a bale per acre, which was not very good, but you know, that was just some of the weeds and also that ryegrass that we were baling. So hopefully now the bahia grass can kick in. It's already kind of green. I'd love to get a rain on it. But, all right, we'll see what happens. So what are we doing? We're heading over to telephone 2 because yesterday I started on that culvert project. So we'll see what that looks like, and we'll get started. Got the box blade on the back, and we'll see if we can finish that job this morning. Okay, what is that, 2:30 Saturday afternoon. We are on the 40 acres. You know, we just finished a rotation up here. You can see, man, it is dry, 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 dry. This property here is incredibly sandy, and unfortunately, I think over the decades it's just been farmed too much, and probably needs a lot of lime put on it to get the pH levels back up. And unfortunately, just undesirable weeds seem to be growing. There's just really not much grass on this piece of property. You know, and it's a double-edged sword. I mean, there's only so much you can do, right? I mean, especially with the inflation and the cost of fertilizer and the cost of lime and everything else. I mean, it would just take a lot of money to invest in this, and I just don't know that you get the rewards and the benefits. So the good news is the landlord, their number one hobby and passion is hunting, and they enjoy hog hunting, which is great for the community. They also enjoy deer hunting, which there is some nice deer around here. So that's kind of what the property is probably best suited for, is maybe a hunting lodge or a hunting place. But anyway, so what are we doing? We're shredding. So we got the cattle off here. The cows were in here for 2 weeks. They ate down all of the desirable grass. Everything that they left behind basically is just stuff, weeds and stuff that they just refuse to eat. So the thought process is get it off, and this kind of gives you a snapshot here of what it looks like. Get this scrub weed or whatever it is knocked down, so if there is any grass left behind, that it can actually start to grow up. The other thought process is by shredding, you get decomposable matter. You get this carbon, if you will, ground up and put back on the soil, because the problem is when the soil is exposed like this, it just dries up, and the sun is so brutal. It's just a double-edged sword on how to get this thing going again. So anyway, that's kind of the challenge that we're facing on this rental property. We need every square foot of grass we can get, so hopefully once I shred this, we'll get some rains on it and it'll have a chance to bounce back the best of its ability. So that's what we're doing. Of course, no good deed goes unpunished. It took forever to get hooked up this time around. The PTO shaft, I guess just because it was sitting for 6 months, 7 months or whatever, I guess there was probably a little surface rust on the shaft. If it gets rain or water or anything in it, sometimes the smallest amount of surface rust can create problems. We like to have never got that PTO shaft off. We ultimately had to take a cutting torch and heat it up, and then just keep beating on it until it finally popped loose. So anyway, thank goodness we had Dale there to help us do that. He was a big help in that regard. All right, well, we're bouncing around out here on the desert. So we'll talk to you soon. Good morning, everyone. Scott, Heritage Farms. Memorial Day weekend, we're trying to make stuff happen. So I was up here at 5:45 this morning at the barn at Telephone 1. We were able to see a hog, and I eliminated a hog that was near the pecan orchard. So don't enjoy doing that, but I tell you what, they're a rodent and they have to go. There's just too many of them. All right, so what are we done? So then I shifted gears, gave the New Holland 5060 a spit bath, rinsed off the dust, checked all the oil, rinsed off the radiator, the condenser, made sure the transmission fluid was good, the motor oil was good. Came back here, took the John Deere HX15 shredder, knocked the dust off a little bit, and made sure all of the gearboxes were full. I greased all of the U-joints on here again. Of course, we greased them yesterday and we ran for 4 hours, and we should be good to go. So I'm about to head out. It is 7 o'clock. It's been a productive morning so far. Okay, guys. Well, here is the pasture that we shredded. And isn't it amazing when you shred a pasture and you knock the weeds down, how good it looks? I mean, major improvement and the mission accomplished. Because what we're doing here, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little bit of dew on the ground. So the nice thing is the sun is out. You got a little moisture on the ground. The grass is not smothered by the weeds. Hopefully the dead grass that we shredded will go down and cover the soil, and the cycle of life will continue. Now there is some good grass in this section. Hopefully it will expand, and you can kind of see where the green is and then where the brown, well, that's kind of where the grass runs out. So hopefully every time we do this, the grass expands a little bit more, gets a little thicker, and good Lord willing, we keep getting some rain showers, then maybe we'll make a little progress. But all right, so now we're on the other side of this cedar tree line, and let me tell you what, it is rough. It has got a tremendous amount of hog damage on it, so it'll be some slow shredding today. I'm gonna be getting my workout, that's for sure. All right, more to follow. Okay, you can kind of see what it looks like over here and what we're doing. You know, you look behind us, it definitely makes an improvement in clearing out some of this. And there's a little bit of good grass in here, but man, there is a lot of berries and vines and things like that. You can kind of see what we're dealing with here. There is the side outside of all of the hog damage. Just a slow, rough process, man. But we're doing good. And there actually is some pretty decent grass over here a little bit. And hopefully this will work. So more shredding. Well, we're back at the barn. The shredding project is finished. So I hooked the power washer up and I power washed the tractor. And I also power washed, boy, look how good she looks. I'm gonna show you guys something. That was the best $100 I ever spent. That's a DeWalt rechargeable 20-volt fan. The AC in here works okay, but it's kind of like being in a fishbowl, man. There's a lot of clear glass, and on a hot summer day, it just doesn't cool enough. And that little fan is a godsend. So what I do when I'm shredding or doing a lot of tractor work, I got my Yeti here, keep some cold beverages of choice in there. Anything but Bud Light, that is. And put my fan right on top of that, and man, it just blows cold air in your face. It does good. Hey, the New Holland 5060 did great. So this is my father-in-law's John Deere HX15 shredder, and batwing shredder, and man, it is a beast. And I tell you what, I don't know, that thing is probably 30 years old now, if I had to guess. I guarantee it's at least 25 years old. But man, it is built like a tank. So one of the things I always do, and you know, you grease it every time you use it, but the other thing is I always power wash it. And I always want it to be clean. I treat it just like it was my own. And so that's what we do. We power wash it, we clean it. It's a shame it sat outside its entire life. I mean, you know, you just can't have enough barn space or lean-tos or shade to put stuff in, but it would be great if that thing would have been kept in a barn, because it's got a little surface rust here and there. But kudos to John Deere, man. This is when they made stuff. I mean, this is thick metal. This is serious metal. This is, to quote Tim the Tool Man, this is good stuff. But anyway, just a beast of a machine. Takes longer to hook it up. There's so many grease fittings. Hell, you lose half a day connecting it, and you lose half a day cleaning it up, disconnecting it, and getting it back. But hey, let me show you the best thing about this today. So the good news today is while I was power washing this is pretty rare, oh no, while I was power washing the tractor, Miss Heritage Farms got motivated, and I think she wanted to play with the power washer. So let's don't say anything. She might run off and quit. I got her working at the moment. It's kind of like the, what do they call it? The Huckleberry deal, where we got people working for us. So, uh-oh, I'm in trouble now. All right, guys, more to follow. Okay, well, Sunday afternoon. Man, we've been getting it today. So what did we do? We shredded the second half of the rental place. We did that. So that took most of the morning. Then we came back and power washed the tractor, the shredder, and the Kubota. Then I went over and I played on the Culvert project at Telephone 2 at the lake. And now I'm moving the hay bales. And boy, let me tell you what, the grass is really coming up considering they just cut this on Thursday. I mean, I want you to look how much it's already grown since they cut it, which is great. So then I got a bale on the back, bale on the front, you know, it didn't make much, but this was all the, basically, you know, the winter ryegrass, if you will. And we're trying to get this off of here so the bahia grass can come on up. And man, I tell you what, it's looking pretty good. So pretty happy so far. And then the good news is the guys showed up and they're out there actually raking and baling the pecan orchard as we speak. So hoping to get somewhere close to, I don't know, we'll just have to see. Maybe we can get 40 or 50 bales off this cutting and then get ready for the second cutting, which hopefully will be much better. But the goal and the target was to try to raise at least 100 bales on my own this year, but we'll see. Good morning. 6:30, Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. Especially big salute to all of those that served and gave the ultimate sacrifice for our country. Just a good opportunity to reflect on those people that have really given it all for the great United States of America. So, all right, what are we doing this morning? Well, I got started about 6 o'clock. Gassed the tractor up, put diesel in, and then we are moving hay. We are, you know, they came yesterday and baled the pecan orchard. We got some cleanup work to do, but that's neither here nor there. We'll get to that when we get to it. But what are we doing? We're stacking hay. And then from here, I'm going to try to spray the pecan trees with zinc and insecticide if I get this opportunity. Just see how the day goes. I'm trying to get out of here by lunch and have some R&R this afternoon. Okay, that's what we're doing. Sorry for the dirty window. We are out spraying pecans. That's right, trying to do all we can in a weekend. It's just so hard to get everything done that you need to. But let me tell you what, this Terminator mist sprayer is a must for anybody that has a decent sized little orchard. You just got to have this bad boy. You couldn't get it done without it, and it's just so efficient. You're not outside around the chemicals. But really all we're spraying is a general purpose insecticide and zinc. But the trees are looking pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with the way things are looking. We got a little problem with the A1 sprayer. A solenoid that turns the pump on and off is not working. So we're having to basically use the PTO. Makes it a little challenging to video and spray at the same time. All right, guys, you kind of see what's going on here.